We made it. It's draft day, folks, in the NBA. First round gets underway today, and it's time for my final NBA mock draft. I've done about 6 of them. This is my 7th, and we're going to give our stab at the final predictions for the first round. No trades in this mock draft. There have been plenty of trades to happen before this first round, but with there being so many trades likely happening tonight, it's just too hard to predict and project, so we're going to keep no trades in this mock draft. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we will be live later today. Don't miss it. I'll be live for the NBA draft. We're going to be 2 hours before we get things started, so 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central Time. Subscribe and join us here at Chat Sports for the top NBA draft coverage on YouTube. I will start with the top 2 picks here. No surprises. Cooper Flagg will be a Dallas Mavericks, and Dylan Harper will be a San Antonio Spur. 2 prospects that have a chance to really change both organizations for the better, and we'll see how these 2 ultimately are tied together for years to come. Flagg is without a doubt the number 1. Many people, including myself, Dylan Harper, is very worthy of being a number 1 selection. Just happens to be in a draft class with a guy like Cooper Flagg. And the draft will actually start with this 3rd pick owned by the Philadelphia 76ers. And I'm going to continue steady with them going VJ Edgecombe. I just think this is the smartest decision for them. I know there is buzz out there. They might have liked Ace Bailey, but with him kind of deterring the Sixers a little bit from going with him, Edgecombe is the better pick in my opinion anyway. Perfect 2 guard to fit right next to Tyrese Maxey. You could bring Jared McCain off of the bench. Paul George stays at the 3. Defends, really good transition player, and is an improved 3-point shooter off the catch. I think the Sixers will make themselves very happy with Edgecombe. A lot of rumors about the Hornets maybe being a team that trades back if Edgecombe isn't available at 3. We know Charlotte's number 1 guy on their board is VJ Edgecombe. Also would be a great fit there. But with Philly taking him here in my mock, they have to pivot. And because I'm not doing any trades, I'm going with Knueppel, the guard/forward out of Duke. You could argue he is the best shooter in this draft. Him, Trey Johnson, Kobe Brea, probably the top 3 for that honor. He fits so well, just plays basketball the right way, connecting piece, defensive, good defender. He can also handle the rock as a secondary ball handler, fits really nice in between LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. If the Hornets stay at 4 and the top 3 is this, I think Knueppel should be the pick for the Charlotte Hornets. But there's a lot of buzz about them trading back, and there's rumors about the Thunder wanting to trade up in the draft. They have picks 15 and 24. Could they trade up to grab Knueppel? I think he would be a good fit in OKC. But let me know what you think, Charlotte. Do they trade back? Yes or no? The Utah Jazz, a lot of buzz about them having a liking for Jeremiah Fears. I would feel this is a good fit for them. Yes, they have Keontae George and Isaiah Collier, but George is a better off-ball player, and Fears is just so much better than both of them, if we're going to be honest. So this should not stop them from taking BPA. They already have their front court figured out if they retain Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler. They just need to figure out their 1, 2, and 3 in that starting lineup. I think slotting in Fears at that starting point guard spot, gets to the free throw line at an extremely high rate, wicked first step, clutch player as well. Fears is a good start to figuring out that backcourt in Utah. The Wizards made a shocking trade on Tuesday afternoon, trading for CJ McCollum and Kelly Olynyk. They traded away Saddiq Bey and Jordan Poole. To me, this is a signal that they are likely going either Trey Johnson or Ace Bailey if available at 6, because adding those 2 players who are shot creators and are good finishers alongside what they already have in Coulibaly, Sarr, Carrington doesn't make a lot of sense. You move off of Poole. I, in my opinion, would play McCollum off of the bench alongside Chris Middleton and Marcus Smart, have a veteran bench lineup, and rock with a starting lineup that consists of Bub Carrington, Trey Johnson, Coulibaly, Alex Sarr, and fill in a center. Trey, to me, feels like the pick for Washington at 6 after they moved off Jordan Poole, which makes Ace Bailey slide to the Pelicans at number 7. I believe that Ace Bailey, in this pre-draft process, is pining to go to either Washington, New Orleans, or Brooklyn in the 6 through 8 spot because he believes that is the best fit for him to kind of hone in his game, get used the right way. I know out there the Pelicans really like Ace Bailey. There was rumors about them wanting to trade up with Philly at 3 to get Bailey. Maybe they do that with Charlotte at 4 to guarantee that. But in this mock with no trades, they stay put at 7. And I think Bailey falls right in their lap. If he doesn't, then I think Trey Johnson could be their pick. but Ace Bailey does fit right there. I'll be curious to see what they do the rest of the offseason after acquiring Jordan Poole. Do they ultimately move Herb Jones and Trey Murphy? If they do, Ace Bailey slides in perfectly. With Bailey gone, Johnson gone, Jeremiah Fears gone, the Brooklyn Nets go with the best player on the board, in my opinion, and that would be Kaman Malawach. The Nets just need absolutely everything. They need a guard, they need wings, they need front court depth. So to me, they're in a spot where they can just take BPA here. Malawach is that, projects as a rim-protecting center that can finish inside. And with Nick Claxton trade rumors, Malawach could easily fill that starting role as the Nets have 4 picks in this first round and try to really turn around that build. I'm cooling on Noah Senge, especially after the report came out that he is going to the draft tonight and he abandoned his Ratio Farm as they're in the German League Championship Series. Yeah, a little sketchy there. But I think Toronto's a really good fit for Senge. He's got a lot of talent. And I think Raptors have the space to just let him develop behind Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, and others, at least as they're currently on the roster. To me, this feels like a really good fit for Noah Senge and a really good fit for the Toronto Raptors. Suns now have the 10th pick after trading Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets. There has been a lot of buzz about them wanting to go with a forward and a big man as they have 2 picks in this first round, 10 and 29. Colin Murray-Boyles is the perfect fit for them. They need to find an identity with that team. And with Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Jalen Green in the backcourt, they need a lot of defensive pieces to help surround them. Colin Murray-Boyles, the most versatile defender in this draft, can also play make in the half court. If he's able to improve as a shooter, could be an absolute steal for the Suns at 10 here. But without a question, day one could be really, really good for them defensively to help surround those backcourt pieces I just mentioned. The Blazers at 11, they made a trade. They traded Anthony Simons in a couple seconds for Drew Holiday. Stunned a lot of people in the league, but they are clearly leaning into a defensive build here. They want Holiday in that building to help mentor Scoot Henderson, to help mentor Toumani Camara, be one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. And with Carter Bryant being what I would argue the best defensive wing, at least at that top of the conversation, and with a higher offensive role, could really show something he didn't show at Arizona. Carter Bryant, to me, feels like his floor is 11 at Portland at this point. I think he will go 9, 10, or 11 with the Blazers scooping him up here. Make sure you are subscribed. I mentioned it earlier. We'll be live later tonight for the NBA draft. Subscribe, join us, turn on notifications, as you won't want to miss our live coverage. We're also going to be live for round 2 tomorrow, so hit that sub button and don't miss our top coverage. The Bulls at 12 go with Derek Queen. I think this is just a smart decision for Chicago. There's a lot of buzz out there and a lot of rumors that they could look for a Senge. They could look for a guy in Carter Bryant. They can look for a guy in maybe even Cedric Coward. But I think they go Queen, the pick, the Maryland center. They need to find a Nikola Vucevic replacement long-term. Queen, one of the most offensively gifted centers in the class, makes a lot of sense to the Chicago Bulls. I will continuously say that the Hawks should go with Thomas Sorber here at 13. I don't know if they do. I have Sorber as my 13th overall player in this draft. I'm very high on the freshman from Georgetown, 6'10", with a 7'6" wingspan, just an absolute physical freak. He's built very much like a truck. He's strong for a true freshman. That's impressive. Gets off the floor quickly. He is got some solid footwork as well. I think he's a perfect big to pair up as Clint Capella finally starts to move off of this Hawks roster. Onyeka Okongwu and Thomas Sorber. It's a pretty fun big man duo for Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, Zachary Shea down in Atlanta. The Spurs go with Cedric Coward here, the forward from Washington State. I love Coward. I do. 16th player in the draft. He will need to develop, I think, but he showed so much promise in those 6 games he played for Washington State. And with the Spurs having 2 picks here, I think Coward would be an excellent second selection for them. This could be a home run pick. Reminds me so much of Jalen Williams from the OKC Thunder. Speaking of the Thunder, champions of the NBA, they go with a high upside pick at 15. Yoann Béranger, the center from France. They had the luxury of trying to take one of the high upside young guys internationally, or they could do it collegiately as well. With Hartenstein under contract for 2 more years, they have Chet. They're going to likely have to find a big man to either play with Hartenstein or Chet in 2 years. Berenger could easily be that, but he needs a lot of time to develop. Stash kind of prospect here for OKC that can develop and marinate into something special a couple years down the line. The Grizzlies at 16, I think they just make so much sense for Nic Clifford. Got to have replaced Desmond Bane. Clifford, 6'5", good guard/wing, can play as a secondary ball handler, can play off ball, great rebounder, good defender, fits really well next to John Morant, in my opinion. You could start him right away if you want. You could bring him off the bench. Clifford, Jalen Wells, and Ja, very versatile kind of 1, 2, and 3 there to complement Zach Edey and Jaren Jackson Jr. in the front court. The Timberwolves probably need to start addressing long-term point guard next to Anthony Edwards with Mike Conley getting up there in age. Maybe they trust Rob Dillingham and want to go center here. I think they just take the best player potentially on their board, and I feel like there's some rumblings out there that Demen is high on Timberwolves boards. 6'9", 6'10" point guard, one of the best distributors in the draft, can take some of the ball handling pressure and duties off of Anthony Edwards. If Demen slides to 17, which is very possible, I think the Timberwolves would be pretty happy to pick him up. Asa Newell heads to the Wizards at 18. So I had them taking Trey Johnson earlier. They need to move Alex Sarr to the 4. It's clear after watching Sarr in his rookie season, he's more of a 4 than a 5. He likes to play a little bit more on the perimeter than a normal center would like to. So grabbing a high motor, good rebounding, physical center in Asa Newell to pair up with Alex Sarr gives them a lot of versatility in their starting front court, but as well as in their bench as well if they wanted to bring Newell off the bench and maybe start Sarr at the 5. It just gives the Wizards a lot of options, and this team in Washington is really starting to put something together potentially. If they're able to come away with Trey Johnson and Newell with their first 2 picks, I think Wizards fans should be pretty happy about that. The slide for my guy, Kasparas Jakuponis, ends here. I actually have Jakuponis as my 6th player in the draft. That's my personal belief, but based off what I'm seeing and hearing around the NBA draft circles and buzz, it feels like Jakuponis might slide to late lottery and maybe even outside of the lottery. And then once you get out of the lottery, I have a hard time finding a spot for him. Like, I don't think Atlanta should go with Jakuponis. I don't think San Antonio would after taking Dylan Harper. The Thunder already have so many guards. The Grizzlies don't need a point guard. The Timberwolves could go Jakuponis, but I think Demen fits a little bit better there. Washington doesn't need a point guard. The Brooklyn Nets are here at 19, just letting Jakuponis fall to them. I think it's a legit possibility tonight we see either Agor Demen or Jakuponis slide. I love Kasparas. Good size, good facilitator. Shot 36% on step-back threes. He will be better in the NBA with spacing. I mean, it's a long shot, but getting Jakuponis and Malawach at 8 and 19 would have Nets fans salivating for the future to come. The Miami Heat may trade this pick. They might keep the pick. I think there's a lot of buzz out there between them and Walter Clayton Jr. I think it might be a smokescreen. There is buzz that they want to go with an experienced, kind of impact player now. Insert Rasheer Fleming. They could look to trade Andrew Wiggins, which would put a wing defender at a premium for Miami. Fleming, 6'9", 7'5" wingspan, 39% three-point shooter a year ago, 66% finisher in the restricted area. He's a good play finisher, versatile defender, which we know Eric Spoelstra would love. I think Fleming is a really good fit for Miami at 20 if they don't want to go with a high upside guard. The Utah Jazz go with the guard/forward out of Spain, Hugo Gonzalez. We gave them Jeremiah Fears earlier. Why not take a swing on a secondary ball handler and wing like Gonzalez? We mentioned that they need to figure out 1, 2, and 3 on their starting lineup to help their front court. Hugo Gonzalez might not be one of those guys you trust to start right away, but after a year or two of development, could ultimately pay dividends. The Brooklyn Nets made that trade where they acquired the 2022nd pick from the Atlanta Hawks, and I have them going with Adou Thiero. I really like his ability to defend. He has an incredible skill set, 6'6", with a 7-foot wingspan. Needs to improve his jump shot for sure, but can immediately be an impact defender on the perimeter for the Nets. He is an excellent finisher as well, ranking in the 90th percentile or better at almost every statistic, 10 feet and in offensively. I really like this fit for the Nets. At 23, I have Danny Wolf going to the Pelicans. They are an interesting team this offseason. Obviously acquired Jordan Poole in that CJ McCollum deal on Wednesday afternoon, but they do need backup bigs to Yves Missi, their first-round pick a year ago. Danny Wolf has a lot of versatility on the offensive end of the floor, plays extremely hard, good rebounder, can pass and play make as well. He would be an ideal backup center to Yves Missi and someone who could play alongside Missi if they wanted to play a two-big lineup, play alongside Zion, gives the Pelicans a lot of versatility on that defensive end, and I really like that for New Orleans to add Danny Wolf potentially to the roster. More draft picks to come here, but get your 4th of July gear here if you're an NBA fan. Every team has one. You either have hats, shirts, tank tops. The holiday is almost approaching, and if you want to represent your favorite team but still show that spirit for the USA, get your stuff today at chatsports.com/4thNBA. Tank tops, doesn't matter what team you're a fan of. Warriors, Bulls, Knicks, Heat, Lakers, don't matter. They got them all over there. One more time, chatsports.com/4thNBA. Links in the description and comments of today's video. Rich potentially could get richer here. OKC going Jace Richardson, the guard from Michigan State. Undersized, but one thing that's clear when it comes to the Thunder is that they need improved shooting from the perimeter. Jace Richardson is that, shot 41.5% from three last season as a Spartan. He improved as the season went on as a secondary ball handler and someone who could run the pick and roll as well. So maybe he comes off the bench and is potentially one of their lead guards when SGA's down, but also could play alongside SGA with his point of attack defense and ability to shoot off the catch, with SGA being such an offensive hub. Jace could go very early. I think he could go, honestly, to the Hawks at 13. He could go anywhere in the mid-20s, but this is a really good home for both OKC and Jace Richardson. It's a good marriage if this can happen. Orlando Magic, they clearly need more from their backcourt off the bench and perimeter shooting, even after they traded Desmond Bane, or for Desmond Bane, and they lost Cole Anthony in that trade. Walter Clayton Jr. has a very similar play style to Cole Anthony. He reminds me of Peyton Pritchard a little bit as well. A dynamic clutch scorer who can play alongside Jalen Suggs, alongside Desmond Bane, as a play hub and a playmaker, a off-ball shooter, complements Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner as well. I think if Walter Clayton Jr. is available for the Magic at 25, it should be a no-brain selection for them to replenish some of their scoring off the bench. Nets have two selections at 26 and 27. I'm going to give them Will Riley from Illinois and Nolan Traore from France. I know they took Yakachonis in this mock at 19, but as I mentioned, the Brooklyn Nets just need to add the best talent they possibly can. And with these two here, these are the two of the most higher upside players on my board. I have Traore as the 18th player on my board. I have Will Riley a little bit lower, down at my 32nd player. But I do think he has upside if he's able to fill out that frame and become a better shooter off of the catch. Traore and Yakachonis, let them battle it out for who's going to be your point guard of the future. Competition breeds success. I like that. Let the other one be a backup secondary handler, or heck, maybe you can even convince Yakachonis to be more of an off-ball role. Either way, hard to pass on Traore here at 26 or 27 if he's there and you're the Nets. Ryan Kalkbrenner, the Celtics at 28. A lot of buzz. They're going to trade Porzingis. I think they ultimately do. And then with Al Horford's uncertainty, Luke Kornet's a free agent. They need a center desperately. I was fighting between Maxime Reynau and Kalkbrenner. I think Kalkbrenner's the more safe pick here. They need a rim protector. Kalkbrenner is the best rim protector in this draft class statistically. He's also the best finisher on the rim for any center. So this makes sense to me if you're the Celtics. They also took a Creighton Blue Jay last year in the first round in Baylor Shireman. The Stanford center, Reynau, I just talked about, heads of the Suns here at 29 as we round out this mock draft. Phoenix is going to add a lot to this front court in this draft. They clearly want to do that. Colin Murray-Boyles and Reynau would be very, very fun. Reynau doesn't defend very well, but he is the most offensively gifted center in the draft. This is my final mock draft. I think in my final three, I always had Noah Penda go to the Clippers at 30. Just a really good defender, long, reminds me of an unbelievably young Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi was obviously better coming out. He was a just outside the lottery pick out of San Diego State. Penda's obviously going here at 30, but Penda getting to learn and develop behind a Kawhi Leonard just would make him have such a higher ceiling going forward. This is just a home run fit, and I just feel like, I know it's hard to say that the 30th pick feels a lock if he's there, But it does. Like, if Penda's there at third, I think the Clippers take him. All right, that's it. Final mock draft. It felt good to do this mock draft, submit it, and then film the video. Last time we're doing this for a very long time, folks. How sad is that? Makes me feel a little sad, to be honest. But grade my final mock draft for me, A, B, C, D, or F. And make sure you do subscribe because, like we said, we're going to see how this all plays out later tonight, live on the channel, 2 hours before the first pick. We will be live. Pre-game, we'll talk about prospects, have a lot of fun, and then we'll break down every pick as it comes in throughout the night. So subscribe and join us later.